we're conditioned to attend to pay attention to the external things in our life, the things that have form, like, the things that we're accomplishing and making a difference with and getting done, the various things in our life that we're doing. And so it's very much about what I'm moving around and what I'm making happen that has form, and are good things happening or bad things happening. And not that these are really important things, okay? And we need to continue to do this. But there's another side to life, is our inner experience of the things we're going through and the processes we're going through as we interact with these external things. Okay, and it just turns out that is the internal experience, and becoming aware of that internal experience, that is the most effective way to change ourselves, to become more aware, to become more awake, to become more connected with life. That's where the spiritual journey, could be psychological as well, but definitely the spiritual journey is not like what I'm doing and what I'm accomplishing, but what am I going through inside as I do this? So, and in my tradition, my shamanic tradition, you could say, this is what sometimes we call this coyote medicine. The coyote helps us to see the things that we have difficulty seeing in ourselves. And what do we have difficulty seeing? What's going on inside. So it just is, it's a really cool practice to just start turning your awareness, your focus, from looking at everything outside and all the form that's going on in your life, the people and the things and all the stuff that you're doing, and to maybe turn that around and direct some of that attention inward. What is my inner experience of this as I'm doing the external experience? What am I going through? What is my process? What is my journey? So it's starting to attend to that. The coyote helps us to look at that. Okay, the trickster medicine helps us to see the things we don't want to accept in ourselves. Why is it scary? Because I think we see it as we're flawed, or if we have fears, or we have concerns, or we have dark thoughts, or whatever else, that it's wrong, it's shameful. There's like guilt and shame, of looking, and it's, if we have fears and these things they're not spiritually correct, they're not psychologically correct, they're not politically correct, but yet we have these feelings, these dark feelings, and we have these things, and we have these neurotic fears and processes in the way we do things. And it's all just human stuff. The coyote is really the person that points out how we're human. Okay, so when becoming aware how we're human, we can start growing as a human. We can start growing emotionally, because we start paying attention to what we're feeling. How do you grow emotionally? You start feeling more. You start attending to what you're feeling, and then you start growing emotionally, which is one of the biggest problems with people that use substances like marijuana. It's kind of, you want to get on my soapbox here, nothing against marijuana or drinking or whatever it is. If we're using those things when we're bummed out and we're feeling something and then we get high, then we're not maturing emotionally. So that was a little side thing I wasn't planning on doing. But anyway, back to attending what's inside. If we just look at, this scares me. I'm uncomfortable with this. I'm judging this. The dark things that we're not supposed to do spiritually, like judgment. Okay. And just, it's like I'm right now, it's just like becoming aware. I'm just really having a difficult time with what John is saying, and then just like really judging him, and just looking at that, and not hating yourself for it, just saying, wow, I wonder what's going on. I wonder why I'm judging John so much. Is something that he's doing threatening to me? Do I see myself in him? Do I see something in myself that I have difficulty accepting in him? And just asking, like, what's up with that? But we have to be willing to just honor what our inner experience is, what our feelings are, what our thoughts are, what our judgments are, what our criticisms are, what our fears are. With fear, Krishnamurti, spiritual teacher, did it. He when he talked about fear, he said we need to examine our fears. We need to look at it. We need to understand our fears. We need to look at them and understand them. And by understanding them, that takes their power over us away, because we're bringing our awareness to our fear. We're turning that awareness from shining out to shining in. What am I going through why is this difficult? Why am I anxious? Why am I needing to control this? Why am I needing to talk shit about my friend? Some of it's dark. Some of it, the other side of the coin, is some of it's really beautiful, that we have difficulty accepting our beauty and our joy. It's like, why am I happy? I have no reason to be happy, but I just feel really joyous today. I wonder what's up with that, and just really getting in the habit of the practice of looking inside and just embracing whatever's there. It's almost like having a deal with yourself. It's like whatever's there is okay. Okay, and because I'm going to find some interesting things, some beautiful things, some things that are a little embarrassing, a little humbling. I learned this where I really learned, well, I learned it a lot of different ways. My teacher was more than happy to point things out to me, and he was very good at coyote medicine and pointing out the things that I was having difficulty accepting in myself. But then also I got another round of it when I did the silent meditation retreats that I did. Because there was just like, it was the Adyashanti put on these retreats, and there was just 7 days of silence, or 5 days, 6 days, 5 to 7 days of silence. And you just sat there with yourself. There was no distractions. You couldn't read. You were not to be on your cell phone, not to talk, you were cleared your schedule. You weren't worried about work. It just is like you just sat there with yourself. And there was just no hiding. You got to see all of your thoughts, all of your feelings. There was just no hiding from it, and that's where I got to it was very, very humbling. First of all, just with my thoughts and stuff, the wacky things that I thought about when I was meditating was just unbelievable. And it just got to the point where I had to find, well, I chose to, but I chose to find some compassion for myself and whatever was there. It was kind of like a deal. It's like, okay, if I'm going to look at myself, if I'm going to turn my awareness toward myself here, I'm going to do this frickin' meditation retreat, I'm going to just make this agreement that whatever I see is going to be okay. Okay, I'm not going to hate myself for it. It's just like, it may be humbling, it may be, it may be embarrassing, it may be interesting, it may be weird, it may be scary, it may be wacky, but I'm going to just sit with it and just saying, wow, that's interesting. I wonder why I would think that. I wonder why I would believe that about myself. I wonder why I'm projecting onto that person that I've never even talked to, that's sitting in the meditation retreat. And why do I like him, but I don't like her? And why do I like her, but not her? Like, I don't even know them. It's like, oh, well, I like her energy better. Maybe. The funny thing was that at the end of the retreat, some of the people I thought were really cool weren't as cool. And some of the people that I had a difficult time with were very cool. So apparently I wasn't as in tune with their energy. I was maybe just projecting things on. So I'm projecting things onto people. I'm judging. I'm afraid of, and I'm controlling things, and all these dark things that we're not supposed to do as spiritual people. We know that judgment's bad and control's bad and fear, bad, and all these dark feelings, and yet we're feeling them. Feeling threatened, or feeling greedy, or feeling whatever it is, jealous, it's like, well, if you're feeling jealous, you're feeling jealous. I wonder why I'm feeling jealous. Maybe the jealousy isn't a bad thing. Maybe it's just something that I'm experiencing inside myself. I wonder why I'm jealous. Am I threatened? Do I not trust the person enough? I'm not trusting myself enough. And it's like walking it back with inquiry, and just exploring, and the energy, we talk about the coyote medicine being strongest at this time of year. In the summer, it peaks at the summer solstice, where it was when we do our summer solstice ceremonies. By the way, there are still openings. If you are interested, we can still have you come along. That energy is strongest at this time of year. So there's a natural energy there for the coyote medicine to do this self-inquiry, to look at the inner processes, the inner experiences that we're having in our life, because that's where we set ourselves free. We can get externally, by working with things externally, we can gain that way too. We can get better and more proficient at things, and we can make money, and we can get things done, and we can make a difference. But there's also, if we turn it inside, that's where we really grow. We increase our awareness, we increase our compassion, our knowledge of ourself, and we learn to accept ourselves. Like me at the meditation retreat, it's like I couldn't hate myself anymore. It's just like, wow, there's all this stuff, there's all this neurotic stuff that I do. My thoughts are going all over the place. I'm judging things, I'm controlling things. I just gotta give myself some slack and just saying, okay, let's inquisitively start exploring this thing. This is odd. Why would I be threatened by someone being this way? Just looking the way they do. Why is that threatening to me? Okay, and then just walking it back, journaling, inquiry. What is it about? Why is that scare me? Or why am I uncomfortable with it? Or why do I need to judge? Why do I need to control this? And then the beautiful stuff too. Why do I have such a difficult time accepting my beauty? Why not just allow my beauty to come out? Why about these negative beliefs I have? Maybe I had to challenge that. Am I really, not enough? Why do I think I'm not enough all the time? Why do I have self-worth issues? Why do I think I don't deserve beautiful things? And just whatever it is you're experiencing. Okay, I'll settle down now. There's a lot of things to observe, and just one at a time. And what happens is one thing will come up, and we start noticing, our awareness starts picking up on, as we shine our light in, our awareness starts picking up on a certain pattern or quirk or fear or issue or whatever, and then it starts understanding more. And then we do inquiry, we bring awareness, and we start asking ourselves questions. We start inquisitively exploring it, like, just, isn't it fascinating that I'm threatened by this? I know it sounds, I'm exposing my geekiness here, but if we can just, and not make it bad, it's just like, wow, it's just really a trip that would be threatening to me. It's just really that I'm judging someone that I just love so much. What's up with that? I'm not gonna, rather than been feeling shame about it, just like, I wonder why I do that. And then if we find out why we do it, we can stop. We get a choice to do something else. If we never understand what's pulling the strings, we never can change we can never change. So it just is under, what is up? And you get the idea. So that's the opportunity to just, at this time of year, continue to do your stuff outside and get things done, and do all the things you need to, but maybe also just look inside, turn the awareness into yourself a little bit with compassion, okay? And just be willing to embrace whatever's there, and just love and accept and learn about whatever's there. And it will start really expanding and enriching your life. So that is my video for this week. Thank you so much for watching. Happy summer once again. Happy time of the coyote, time of self-inquiry, time of self-observation, time of insight. Coyote medicine is really about insight. Happy summer solstice as we get closer to it. Happy summertime, time of activity outside and interest in looking and awareness inside. And I will see you in a week.